Hi, everyone. Welcome to Curated by Becta's Meal Kit number 139 for March 9th to 11th. Thanks so much for ordering this week, and thanks for letting us be a part of a special celebration at home. We've got a delicious and incredibly simple menu to do with you tonight. So why don't we go ahead and get started? For the appetizer, I've got my miso and sweet potato soup warming up on the stove. You want to do it on medium and just make sure to stir it every once in a while. Same thing with our cauliflower puree. I've got it in a pot for our main course, and that's on medium low because it's going to take a little while longer to plate everything. I've got a non-stick pan warming up for our spätzle. You want to get that to medium heat, so let me warm that up just a little bit. And then I've got a cast iron pan, but you can use any heavy bottom pan, and you want to get that to medium high heat. Make sure I get that right. Yes, medium high heat for that. So for neutral oil, I use grapeseed oil, but you can use canola or vegetable oil. You want to do 1 tablespoon per person for each of the spätzle and the kielbasa. This pan's a little weird, so I'm going to add a little bit more. I just want to make sure my spätzle doesn't stick to it. It's a lovely pan, but spätzle, you want to get a nice crust on it. So make sure that the oil is nice and spread out. Yeah, and dessert is easy. It's just plate away. Like this is a really awesome but very simple dinner. So it'll be a short menu, short video. So let's have a little taste of our lovely Scarpetta Prosecco from Italy. This is great. So why I love doing sparkling wine with soup is because of the textural difference. When you have just dry white wine with soup, sometimes you get lost in it, or it gets lost. So having the bubbles gives a really nice textural difference, and this plays off really nicely with the miso and the sweet potato. Lovely. Okay, so kielbasa, we make this in-house venison. We cure it and then smoke it. Chef Rich was there today with his sausage making machine, and it's something really special. I know you might think, oh, a sausage, but this is really, really special stuff. And it's a way of getting you venison at a reasonable price. And that's great. So I want to get sure I've got my tongs. You don't even have to use the oven tonight, by the way. Isn't this great? So it's going to be 3 minutes on each side on medium-high heat. The spätzle, I only want to go in as soon as I take the kielbasa out because the kielbasa needs to rest and we need to reuse that pan with a little bit of the venison juices. I'm going to turn a hood fan on because I set off the smoke detector the other day, and that's no fun for anyone. And so yeah, 3 minutes on that. You know what? I can probably plate the dessert while I'm doing that. Let me move my butter aside. So here we have this lovely angel's food cake, or devil's food cake, excuse me. And it's got some fresh mint and caramelized almonds. You can rip up the mint, you can put it around, you can do anything you like. I'm going to actually rip this up and sort of sprinkle it around the plate. Usually I plate desserts in a bowl, but tonight I need the bowls for the soup. And the white really looks good with the orange soup instead of the blue bowls that I have that are a similar size. And put those around, and that's going to be really nice texture for the crunchy almonds. And you can spread them back inside the rim. And there is our lovely devil's food cake with the fresh mint and candied or caramelized almonds. Okay, I think it's been 3 minutes. Let's check out our venison sausage. Gorgeous. We can just toss that around. You want to get a nice brownness on it. All right, let's see how our soup's doing. I'll probably turn that up a little bit because I want to plate that before the other things, and I want it to stay warm while I take the pictures, and then my wife and I sit down for dinner. Our son is working tonight, and so we get to have a little bit of a date night. And then we're going to get the pan going on with the mushrooms. If you've done like me and probably put a little bit more than 1 tablespoon per person of oil in there, you can add a little bit less because the juice from the venison sausage is what we're cooking the mushrooms in. And so make sure not to put too much. Let's see. Soup is doing well. Let me tell you about the red wine before I forget. This is one of my favorites. This is a Corbière from the Southern Côte d'Aron, or Northern Languedoc-Roussillon, actually, and Syrah Grenache Saint-Saul, and it's just lovely. It's got a little bit of gaminess, meatiness in there. It's going to be perfect for the venison. It's a big, luscious red wine, which is great. Okay, I think our venison is now good. We've got some good juice in there, so I'm going to throw the mushrooms in. Make sure to separate them nicely from the Swiss chard. And we've got our spätzle, and now I can put this in. We've got it in a bag this week. Actually, I'm going to borrow this spatula. I'm going to use a different spatula. We've got it in a bag this week because there's still a few supply chain issues, and our wonderful square deli containers, send that guy down, are on back order. So we're trying to source something else, but in the meantime, your spätzle might come in a bag versus a deli container, which, by the way, are great for leftovers. Okay, so make sure to squeeze it down so it's nice and flat. And the hardest thing that I have to do in the kitchen is not touch this stuff. Okay, stop it, Steve. Okay, so the mushrooms, give this a stir. Let's throw some salt and pepper in there. And very little else needs to be seasoned tonight. We've got the spätzle, which is going to need a little seasoning after we sear it for 2 minutes. There's one little bit that hasn't come apart, so I'm going to just move that. But the rest of it, let's leave it alone. There we go. Yeah, this is looking good. And plus, we're going to add some butter to this when we put the Swiss chard in. I think they might have sent me more than necessary on the Swiss chard, but we'll see how it sautés. Oh, I missed a couple mushrooms. Let me make sure to get those. Okay, I think we're good. And just keep your kielbasa close by so that they're nice and warm. But it's nice to have it rest and then relax. Okay, I just want to toss it a little bit. It's not quite browned enough yet, so I'm going to leave it for a little bit longer. I may adjust the finishing instructions. It may take, 5 or 6 minutes for the spätzle to get that nice brown crust, and we want that. In the meantime, let's go ahead and plate the soup. So again, you shouldn't need to season this. We season it at the restaurant. There's a lot of soup here, but it's delicious. Keep moving my mushrooms around. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. And let's add the butter. And I guess I can turn off the hood fan now. All right, now we need a few spoons. So we've got smoked sour cream, which I had never heard of before. But Chef sort of walked me through how he does it, and it's a pretty amazing process. It's put in the cold smoker. The smokiness really comes through. And then we've got these pickled shishito peppers. Sprinkle it all around, and it's going to give a really nice texture to the soup. I love feedback, guys. If you're watching this and we haven't chatted by email in a while, please send me a note. Yum@becta.com comes to me, but it also comes to Malisa, who is our awesome curated manager, and also half of our management team. So please send some notes our way. Okay, now we're going to throw the Swiss chard in there. Yeah, there's a lot of Swiss chard. We probably don't need that all. Give it a little stir. See how our spätzle is doing. It's good. Getting a nice little crust on it. And then And then we're going to season with salt and pepper on this guy. And the Swiss chard, now that it's gone in, it's going to need a little bit as well. This could be one of my fastest videos to date. You just want the Swiss chard to wilt and to warm up. So one little trick I do is kind of put the hot mushrooms right on top, and that'll wilt it up nicely. You can turn that down now. Okay, I think our spätzle is looking good. Cauliflower puree, warm enough. Oh, by the way, I didn't show off our soup. So there is our miso sweet potato soup with the smoked sour cream and the pickled shishito peppers. They're not super spicy, by the way, although apparently 1 in 10 are supposed to be spicy. Okay, how are we going to plate this? Cauliflower puree, and then spätzle next. So divide up the cauliflower puree in half. My induction stove likes to beep at me. By the way, for those regulars who order most weeks, you know who you are. I just want to say I'm on vacation next week. My wife and son and I are going to New York City. It's our son's last March break at home. He's going to be off to university in the fall, and we let him choose, and he chose New York City. So we are bringing back a great menu from last year that we are doing up for you guys, because I've already recorded the video. So if I don't mention the date and the start of it, you know why. Okay, that guy can go off. Spätzle, gonna be beside. Sort of a classic match of spätzle with venison. There. Don't need that anymore. I don't want to burn my hands though, so let me grab a towel for the cast iron. And then our mushrooms and our Swiss chard. Yes, yes. And alongside the garnish for the kielbasa is this lovely apple mostarda. By the way, I want to give a special shout out to all of our Mont Ste. Marie folks who have been ordering up a storm. Thank you, and we appreciate it. We've only got a couple weeks left of ski season, I think. We're thinking that the last week of March break, so I think that's around the 19th, will probably be our last Mont Ste. Marie weekend, but it'll depend on the weather. And if you guys keep ordering, then we're going to keep delivering. Okay, now I need to figure out where to put the mostarda. I think we're going to put it on the side here with the spätzle, and maybe a little bit on top of the venison. This is a good looking dish. A little exotic. Very nice. Okay, I just want to clean up the plate a little bit for you there. And there is our venison kielbasa with the cauliflower puree, the spätzle, roasted mushrooms, and Swiss chard, and the apple mostarda. Thanks for ordering this week. We're very grateful. All of our staff love cooking for you at the restaurant, and I hope you love finishing this at home. And please reach out at any time, yum@becta.com. And I hope we get to cook and curate for you again very soon.